The world is drowning in noise. Think about it. We are living in an age of desperate overperformance. People shouting their opinions on platforms they don't own, broadcasting their every meal, their every fleeting emotion, their every minor achievement. They are screaming into the void, begging to be seen, begging to be validated, begging for attention. But true power never begs. True power doesn't need to raise its voice. The loudest person in the room is almost always the weakest. They are an open book, a simple puzzle, a predictable pattern. Their noise is not strength. It is a desperate camouflage for their insecurity. They are performing power, not possessing it. We have been conditioned to fill silence. We see a pause in conversation as a failure, an awkwardness that must be immediately repaired. We overshare, we overexplain, we rush to justify our existence. And in this process, we make ourselves predictable. We hand over the blueprint to our minds, our triggers, our weaknesses, all for the cheap price of temporary social comfort. And here is the fundamental, brutal truth of human dynamics. Anything that is predictable is controllable. If I know what makes you laugh, I can charm you. If I know what makes you angry, I can provoke you. If I know what you desire, I can manipulate you. Your transparency is your liability. But what if you were unreadable? What if your presence alone made people second-guess themselves? What if your silence was more intimidating than their loudest threat? This is not about being an introvert. This is not about being shy. This is about a strategic and weaponized silence. This is the architecture of mystery. Today, you will learn why speaking less makes you unreadable, unpredictable, and dangerously attractive. You will learn to turn your silence into a weapon. Before you can use a tool, you must understand its design. The power of mystery isn't magic. It's pure psychological warfare built on 3 pillars that exploit the inherent flaws of the human mind. The first pillar is the most important. Visibility is vulnerability. The common man wants to be known. He believes that if people just understand him, they will like him, respect him, follow him. He is a fool. The moment they know you, they can categorize you. The moment they categorize you, they can dismiss you. Oh, he's that kind of person. You are filed away, solved, finished. More than that, the moment they know you, they can predict you. They learn your patterns. They know how you will react to bad news, how you will respond to flattery, what it takes to break your composure. And if they can predict you, they own you. They can play you like an instrument, pulling the strings of your own predictable emotions. The man who is a mystery, however, he cannot be categorized. He cannot be predicted. How do you fight an enemy whose strategy you cannot decipher? How do you manipulate a person whose desires are unknown? You can't. You can only react. When you are a mystery, you force them to be the open book. They will project their own thoughts onto you, reveal their own strategies, and you reveal nothing. You become a black hole for information. You absorb everything. You reflect nothing. That is power. The second pillar is psychological. The mind hates a vacuum. The human mind is a meaning-making machine. It is desperate for answers, for closure. It cannot tolerate ambiguity. Silence to the human mind is not just an absence of sound. It is a question that demands an answer. When you are silent, when you are unreadable, you create a cognitive void. You present a puzzle with no solution, and this drives people insane. They cannot stand not knowing. They will obsess. What is he thinking? Is he angry? Is he judging me? Is he planning something? Their minds will race, spinning endless scenarios, trying to fill the vacuum you have created. Notice what has happened. You have done nothing, and yet you have completely hijacked their mental and emotional resources. They are no longer focused on their own agenda. They are focused on yours. They are no longer in control of their thoughts. You are. While they are busy trying to decode you, they are falling under your influence. While they are exhausted from their own internal monologue, you remain calm, centered, and in complete control. You let their own minds do the work for you. This leads to the third and most powerful pillar, the power of projection. This is the secret. When you give people nothing, they invent everything. Because their minds cannot find the real you, they are forced to create a version of you. And here is the genius of it. The version of you they invent will always be more powerful, more intelligent, and more dangerous than the real thing. If you are silent in a negotiation, they won't assume you're confused. They will assume you are a master strategist, holding a card you refuse to show. They will project their fears onto you and see a ruthless opponent. If you are calm in a crisis, they won't assume you're in shock. They will assume you have a plan. They will project their desire for a leader onto you and see a savior. You don't need to tell them you are powerful. Your silence forces them to conclude it for themselves. People will always believe their own conclusions more than your claims. You are not a person anymore. You are a screen. They project their fears, their hopes, their insecurities, their admiration. You become a myth, and a myth is infinitely more powerful than a man. Understanding why mystery works is the foundation. Now we build the fortress. This is not about being quiet. This is about a series of deliberate, tactical choices designed to engineer your unreadability. The first tactic, the unreadable gaze. Most people use eye contact to connect, to seek approval, to signal empathy. You will use it to observe. Your face is your first line of defense. It must become a mask of calm authority, not aggressive, not angry, not smiling, just controlled. When someone speaks, you don't nod along like an obedient dog. You don't furrow your brow in deep concern. You simply watch. Your gaze should be steady, calm, and penetrating. It should feel like you are not just listening to their words, but analyzing their intentions. It is a look that says, "I see more than you are showing me." This simple act is incredibly unnerving. It strips them of their social script. They are expecting a reaction, a cue to tell them they are doing well. You give them nothing. They will start to falter, to second-guess themselves, to rush to fill the silence you've created. What is he thinking? That question is the sound of your victory. The second tactic, the art of the vague answer. You must eliminate the urge to explain. You owe no one a detailed map of your mind. When asked a direct question, the common man gives a direct answer. The powerful man gives an effective one. Speak in fragments. Use generalities. Answer a question with another question. If someone asks, "What did you think of the meeting?" the fool says, "I thought it was terrible. John was unprepared and the data was all wrong." He has just revealed his position, his judgment, and his alliance. He has given away his power. The master says, "It was illuminating." Illuminating? What does that mean? Does it mean he learned something good, something bad? Does he agree, disagree? They don't know. You have satisfied the social requirement of an answer while revealing absolutely nothing. Or, "What's your plan for this project?" You reply, "We're exploring all viable options." Or, "What do you really think of me?" You smile faintly and say, "Does it matter what I think?" These are not answers. They are deflections. They are fog. They force the other person to stumble, to guess, to work. And the one who is working is the one who is not in control. Let them exhaust themselves trying to pin you down. You remain fluid, untouchable. The third tactic, master the strategic pause. In conversation, power is not in the words. It is in the silence between the words. When you are asked a question, especially a challenging one, what is your first instinct? To answer immediately, to defend yourself, to prove you are quick, intelligent. This is a mistake. It signals reactivity. It signals a lack of control. Instead, you will learn to pause. When the question is asked, you hold your unreadable gaze. You are perfectly still. You wait 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. In those 3 seconds, a storm erupts in the other person's mind. Did I go too far? Did I offend him? Why isn't he answering? He must be really thinking. You have created tension. You have seized control of the interaction. That pause magnifies the weight of whatever you say next. Your eventual answer, now delivered slowly and deliberately, sounds not like a reaction, but like a judgment. It sounds considered. It sounds final. The man who rushes to answer is a servant. The man who makes the world wait for his answer is a king. The final tactic, the calculated withdrawal. This is the principle of scarcity. That which is always available is never valued. That which is rare becomes a prize. This applies to diamonds, and it applies to your presence. The mistake is to be consistent, to always be at the party, to always answer the phone, to always reply to the text within 5 minutes. You become predictable. You become boring. You become a utility, like tap water, always there and completely taken for granted. You must become a limited resource. You will be present, engaging, focused, and then you will disappear. You are the center of the conversation, and then, without warning, you are the first to leave. You answer texts immediately, then you let one sit for a day. You show intense interest, and then you become coolly indifferent. This is not a game. This is training. You are teaching them that your attention is not a right, it is a privilege. This unpredictability creates a cycle of addiction. It's the same principle as a slot machine. They never know when they'll get the reward of your attention, so they keep pulling the lever over and over. They will start to work for it. They will analyze your behavior. They will talk about you. He seemed so engaged yesterday, but today he's distant. You are living rent-free in their heads. When you are always available, they have control. When you are scarce and unpredictable, you have control. You become the prize they are desperate to win. So, you have built the fortress. You have mastered the gaze, the vague answer, the pause and the withdrawal. What is the result? What does this new power feel like? It manifests in 3 devastatingly effective ways. First, they expose themselves. Nature abhors a vacuum, and social dynamics do too. When you refuse to speak, when you offer nothing, the other person will become frantic to fill the void. And what do they fill it with? Themselves. They will talk and talk and talk. They will nervous chatter. They will over-explain. And in their desperate attempt to build a connection with you, or to simply break the tension of your silence, they will tell you everything. They will reveal their insecurities. They will hint at their desires. They will expose their weaknesses. They will accidentally tell you their entire strategy. All you have to do is sit there and listen. You become a psychological confessor. You gather an arsenal of information, an intimate understanding of their entire psyche, and you have given them nothing in return. You remain a mystery. In any future conflict, you have all the weapons, and they have no idea what you're holding. Information is power, and silence is the ultimate tool for its extraction. Second, they seek your validation. When your attention is scarce, it becomes valuable. When your approval is not given freely, it becomes a prize. This is where the dynamic shifts permanently. People will subconsciously begin to change their behavior to earn your validation. The loud person in the room will quiet down when you enter, hoping to impress you with their newfound seriousness. The chronic braggart will stop boasting and will instead start asking your opinion, hoping for a rare nod of approval. They will dress better. They will speak more intelligently. They will unconsciously begin to perform for you, the silent audience. You have become the standard. You have become the invisible judge. You are not asking them to change. Your mysterious presence is compelling them to. You are shaping their behavior without saying a single word. This is true dominance. And finally, the most potent effect of all, you become unforgettable. Think of the people you have met in your life. How many do you truly remember? The ones who were loud, agreeable, and open? No. You forget them instantly. They are a pleasant but forgettable blur. They are simple, solved. The ones who haunt you are the ones you couldn't figure out. The man who looked at you in a way you couldn't decipher. The woman who was warm one moment and cold the next. The person who listened to your deepest secret and gave nothing back. These people become an obsession. What did they mean? What did they really think of me? You replay the interaction over and over, trying to solve the puzzle. When you are a mystery, you are not just a person they met. You are a story they can't finish, a song they can't get out of their head. They will find themselves thinking about you days, weeks, even years later. To be understood is to be forgotten. To be a mystery is to be eternal. We live in a world that has mistaken noise for power. We are told to speak up, be visible, share your truth. But these are the rules for the sheep. They are designed to make you predictable, manageable, and weak. The rules for the wolf are different. Silence is not passive. It is not empty. It is a shield, and it is a weapon. It is a fortress that makes you unreadable, and a vacuum that pulls their secrets out. In the grand, brutal chess game of life, the loudest piece is the first one captured. The king, the true king, moves quietly. He rarely speaks, but his presence controls the entire board. Stop begging for attention. Stop explaining yourself. Stop filling the silence. Let the world exhaust itself with noise. You will be the silence that cuts through it. You will be the pause that holds all the power. You will be the unreadable page they are desperate to solve. The world is full of open books. Be the cipher. Be the shadow. Be the mystery that no one can ever solve.